Hello friends. About 70% of the friends who watch my videos are not subscribed, and I would be very happy if you did. Also, don't forget to press the like button and leave your comments. Your interaction makes the content reach everyone and contributes to the growth of the channel. Thank you all. From which country or city do you follow the channel? Clara was a quiet girl who always kept to herself and avoided chatting with kids her age. Nikki, on the other hand, was a chatterbox who'd talk non-stop with anyone who'd listen. For a long time, their friendship flowed smoothly while they were little girls, but as they grew older, differences piled up. Nikki turned into a slim, striking teen while Clara stayed a bit chunky. Honestly, she became a plain, withdrawn girl. As years passed and Nikki found new friends and started flirting with boys, she realized Clara was kind of boring. Their conversations faded. Clara tried holding on to Nikki, but Nikki pulled away. Maybe nothing would have happened if Nikki hadn't gotten downright nasty toward her old friend. At Jefferson High, she led every tease, every cruel joke, every jab. Clara often ended up crying in a bathroom stall, or sometimes, when the bullying spilled beyond school grounds, she'd run to an abandoned, crumbling house off Route 17 near the woods. Normal girls don't go near places like that. Her bullies would scoff, leaving her alone. Clara would sit there for hours, imagining solid walls instead of ruins, unbroken windows, and a cozy rug on the floor. In her head, it was her house. She felt safe there, even if it was just a fantasy. By dusk, she'd head home. One day, after the mean girls had left but tears still wet Clara's cheeks, she sat, out of breath, on a pile of rocks in the overgrown yard. "Heavy tears you've got there, girl," came a sly whisper, more like a breeze than a voice. Clara jumped up, spinning around. "Nobody." "Who's there?" she croaked, scared. The whisper floated back, coming from the rock pile. Up close, it wasn't just rocks but the crumbled top of an old well, sealed with rotted planks. The voice rose from the darkness below. "What are you doing down in a well?" Clara asked carefully. "It's dark here, and folks don't need to see me. It's bad for them." "Do you need help?" she offered, relaxing a little. The whisper felt soft and kind, calming her. Fear slipped away quickly. "Help's not for me, girl. I can taste the bitter salt in your tears," the thing answered. Suddenly, Clara overflowed with hurt, so much it poured out. "Those awful jerks. I don't like talking to people and they can't stand it. I'm chubby, different, and they think that lets them torment me. They call me a cow every day. Sometimes I hide here, and they leave me alone. I don't know what I did to them," she spilled. The reply was only wind rustling the yellow, half-fallen leaves. "Can you move the cover off the well?" it asked again after Clara wondered if she'd imagined it. She pushed the planks aside with effort. "Done," she muttered. "Much better. Fresher air," the voice sighed. From then on, Clara visited the abandoned house more often. It wasn't just a refuge now. She'd found a friend, her only friend. He didn't always speak, mostly listening as she vented about life, her useless uncle who didn't care, and the classmates who always pointed and laughed. "Want me to help you?" the voice whispered one day as Clara, finished venting, turned to leave the shack. "With what?" she asked, turning back, surprised. Lately, she'd wondered if the voice was all in her head, but it was simple to prove it wasn't. "You give me strength, and I'll give you strength back." "What kind of strength?" "I'm not exactly tough. If I haven't fed in ages, I'm weak and stuck down here," it explained. "Did someone trap you in there?" she wondered before replying. "Tell me what to do." On the chosen day, Clara brought 2 classmates to the abandoned house. She'd wanted to bring more, as the thing requested, but she was clever enough to craft a story about puppies trapped in a ditch, weak and starving without food or water. She couldn't save them alone. Only Jake and Tommy volunteered. All the way down Old Mill Road, they bugged her with questions. "What kind of puppies? Fluffy or short-haired? How many? Sure there's no mama dog to bite us?" It drove her crazy. She barely listened, just thought about how 2 boys could aid her new friend. "Get him out of the well, maybe?" she pondered. "So, where are these puppies?" Jake asked with a smirk when they arrived. "Over there, by the caved-in well. I cleared what I could, but I'm not strong enough. My fingers are full of splinters." "Come on, Tommy, let's get them fast," Clara replied. She stepped aside and watched. Her new friend had promised the boys wouldn't be harmed. The thing just wanted some strong emotions. More people, more feelings. Its last words echoed in her mind. Tommy leaned over the well first, squinting into the shadows. Jake did the same. "Nothing's down there," Tommy said quietly. "Where are your puppies?" Jake demanded, turning to her. "I don't know. They were here. They couldn't just..." Jake began, but his eyes widened as if he'd seen something awful behind Clara. He stopped cold. At that moment, Tommy dropped to his knees, legs giving out, hands digging into the dirt. He groaned, clutched his throat, and gasped, his face flushing red. Clara didn't know what to do. Fear locked her in place. She couldn't even move. Her gaze flicked between frozen Jake and struggling Tommy. It lasted 10 seconds, feeling like forever to her. Then Jake finished his sentence. "Climb out of that hole and trick us?" Tommy looked at her too, as if the choking never happened. "You guys okay?" Clara asked, voice shaky. "Us? Are you okay? Why'd you drag us out here?" Tommy laughed. "Freak," Jake added. "Let's go." Clara stood there, confused, unsure what she'd just seen. She'd been terrified for the boys. Her hands still trembled. She edged toward the well. "I'm grateful, girl. 2 isn't much, but you did well. Now I'll help you," the voice murmured. "What happened to them?" she whispered back, still unsteady. "Nothing big. They just lost some emotions. That's all," the voice replied. "I was terrified. So scared," Clara exclaimed. "Yes, I feel your fear. Your soul's stronger than ever, ready to take a gift." At first, she felt a tingle everywhere, like a leg waking up. It grew sharper, settling below her chest, deep inside. The stronger it got, the more reality drifted away. She couldn't think straight, swept up in the pain. It swelled until it felt like something would rip out of her ribs. She screamed loud and passed out. A few minutes later, she woke up, sprawled on the ground, unsure why. Her chest felt normal. She rubbed it, stood, shook off leaves, and walked home. It was dark when she reached her rundown place on Cedar Lane. Her uncle, her guardian, was likely passed out. Even if he wasn't, he wouldn't ask where she'd been. Clara figured she could vanish for a week or a month, and he'd never notice. He drank constantly, boozing until he crashed. The chest pain was gone. She even felt lighter somehow. That lasted until she stepped inside. A strange feeling hit, not quite anxiety or fear. Something heavy. The pain flickered back, sharp but faint. She rubbed her solar plexus. Her uncle stumbled out in stretched-out boxers, reeking of whiskey. "Geez, Uncle Ray, I told you, pants around me," Clara snapped. The bathroom door banged shut. Clara usually felt only disgust for Uncle Ray. He stank of liquor and often pestered her with pointless questions, half trying to act like a parent. Now pity crept in, something vague, like pain but not quite, tugged at her. When she focused, nothing of hers hurt. Then, as Ray shuffled past to the bathroom, it hit her. This wasn't her pain, it was his. She knew it as clearly as she'd noticed cold or heat. He was sick, suffering deeply. She felt it all night, tossing in bed, fixated on his pain, not hers. She didn't know what to do. When the alarm rang, she leapt up, got ready fast, grabbed her books, and rushed out. She'd never left for school so early, almost 2 hours ahead. The farther she got from home, the lighter she felt. There was power in her now, raw and unknown. She headed to the abandoned house for answers, but got none. The thing stayed silent, or maybe it was gone. Upset, she trudged to school. At Jefferson High, eyes followed her. She'd always been invisible, so the attention threw her off. Confused, she didn't get it until Nikki came over. "Hey," Nikki said brightly. "You look awesome." "Huh, what?" Clara replied, glancing down at herself. Goosebumps covered her skin. She was thin. She checked the mirror that morning. "How'd this happen?" "You lost weight." "No way." Me and the girls were shocked. "Just, weird clothes," Nikki went on. "Sorry, gotta go," Clara mumbled, hurrying to the bathroom. In the mirror, she barely recognized herself. She'd really slimmed down. Her dress and sweater hung loose. Then her chest twinged. Someone else's pain. She stepped out, distracted. The feeling grew. 3 yards away stood Miss Harper, the English teacher. A wave rolled off her. Clara could sense the sickness. She didn't yet know why she felt others' pain, as if she needed more troubles. Before class, nearly every kid asked how she'd lost the weight. It annoyed her. She brushed them off with jokes. Class began, and everyone noticed Jake and Tommy weren't there. Late, maybe, Clara thought, unease stirring. They showed up by third period, looking like they'd just woken up. Ignoring everyone, they slumped into their seats. Clara couldn't stop staring. Something new brewed in her, unclear. By day's end, Jake and Tommy were still off, slow and mumbling. Their friends joked about partying too hard or not sleeping. "You feeling okay?" the homeroom teacher asked Jake, noting his odd behavior. "Sick, I guess," he muttered. "I'm wiped," Tommy added. "Home, both of you. You're pale as ghosts," she ordered. Clara knew they weren't sick. She'd feel it. This was different, something the well thing caused. Her head spun. Felt like a bad dream. She pinched her arm. Pain. Is this real? She wondered. The strangeness was just beginning. Every morning and after school, she went to the abandoned house, asking again and again, "What did you do to me?" On the 5th day, Sunday, she sat by the well on a plank, watching ants, when a sound broke through. Seemed like wind at first, then a whisper. She couldn't make out words, maybe nonsense. She stood and shouted, "Answer me already. What's happening? I'm losing it. What did I hear? I don't understand you," she continued. "Whisper. What did you do to me? To them?" Tears poured out. She couldn't hold back. "What's going on? What did I do?" she sobbed. "Esquire, you'll be a powerful girl," it finally said. "I don't want it. Take it back," she yelled. "Esquire, nothing can be undone," the voice answered. "Where were you? Why didn't you answer? I needed you," Clara pressed, crying. "I was sleeping. My strength fades fast. Sleep saves it. But your emotions woke me. What did you do? Why do I feel people's pain? What's it for?" she groaned through tears. "You don't just feel it. You can take it. Pain's dark energy. Snuff it out with your power, Esquire. Take it all. Take it all? I don't get it. Can I heal sickness?" she asked. "Take it all. Bring it to me," it said. That's all she got. The whisper faded as suddenly as it started. Walking home down Pine Street, she replayed it in her head. She didn't want to believe it, but the sharp pang in her chest near home snapped her back. She felt pain, others' pain, so she could heal. But how? She cursed herself for finding that awful place, talking to whatever it was. Anger surged. The house smelled of booze. Uncle Ray's snores rumbled from his room. She tiptoed to her door. The floorboards creaked louder the quieter she tried to be. Ray lay sprawled on the floor, off the bed, snoring on his back. It wasn't new. Clara usually ignored it. She edged closer to the snoring lump. God, the stench, she thought, wrinkling her nose. The burn in her chest flared, buzzing in her head. Something urged her to touch him, like a whisper in her ear. She lifted her left hand over him, then pressed it down gently. Her right followed. When both palms touched his chest, heat clung to them. The snoring stopped. Ray's eyes opened, staring, confused. "Uncle Ray, you fell off the bed. Thought I'd wake you," Clara forced out. "That's it?" he mumbled, eyes closing again, as if he'd never woken. The pain in her chest vanished. The house felt calm. No more heavy vibes. Her hands glowed red, like she'd rubbed them hard, radiating heat. She dunked them in a bowl of cold water, turned black, hiding her hands. The heat lingered, spreading up her arms and through her body. She stood there for ages. When it faded, she pulled her hands out, then checked the mirror, still stunned she'd slimmed overnight. She stripped to her underwear, twirling, admiring every inch of her new frame. She loved it so much, she forgot the chaos of days past. Saturday morning, Clara woke to a clatter from the kitchen. She glanced at the clock. Too early for Ray to be up. Normally, drunk, he'd sleep till night, then drink again till dawn. Something felt different, real. She jumped up, opened the kitchen door. Ray was cooking at the stove. She rubbed her eyes. Him cooking? After recent weirdness, maybe it made sense. Uncle Ray, something up? She asked cautiously. You bet, he turned, grinning. Clara stared. He was smiling? Perfect day for breakfast. Looked in the mirror this morning and hated what I saw. Wait, weren't you chubby? He blurted. Before he could backtrack, Clara cut in. Not chubby, just fuller. But now, who's the stunner I see? Did I drink so much I missed you slimming down? Guess so, Ray. She lied. You look good too. Wouldn't have said that yesterday. Yeah, shaved, showered. You won't believe it, Clara. I had a wild dream. Never told you, but my lungs killed me. From that crash where... He trailed off. Mom and Dad died? She filled in. Yeah, docs drained them for ages. It got better, then worse. I drank to numb it. The pain of losing your mom, my sister, and the physical ache. Drank till I blacked out. Got fired, didn't care. Last night, I dreamed my pain was a big worm, squirming inside, then crawling out my chest. Not painful, not scary. It hit the floor, wriggled like a snake on a skillet, then poof, gone. I looked up, saw you. You said I wouldn't suffer anymore. Hugged me. Woke up and the chest pain's gone. I feel healthy. It's nuts. You do look better, Clara nodded. Weird stuff's happening in Willow Creek. Seems like it. Ray grinned again. Pancakes? I'm wrestling this recipe, but I'll whip up something edible. Clara laughed, joining him. Her racing thoughts settled, as if this was normal, always easy and light. The weekend was great with Ray, her best ever. Monday wrecked it. She barely stepped into school when Nikki rushed over. Clara, you here? She gasped. Heard what about Jake and Tommy? Clara muttered, dread rising. Jake's mom took him to the hospital. He's been off, slow, drained, no fever or anything. Guess what they found? Jake's got no pulse, no heartbeat, like he's dead. His eyes are cloudy, like a corpse's. Tommy too, same deal. Freaky health stuff. Nikki rambled. What do the docs say? Clara asked, mind elsewhere. Nothing, clueless. Our hospital's got no fancy gear like ultrasounds, so they shipped them to the city Friday. No word since. Weird, right? Nikki finished. Clara nodded, silent. Something off Nikki distracted her. A wave, but not like Ray's or Ms. Harper's. Murky, vague. You okay? Health-wise? Clara asked, staring. You sick? Me? No, do I look bad? Nikki fretted, pulling out a compact, twisting her head side to side. No, fine. Just, what if the guy's thing is contagious? Clara soothed. Phew, you scared me. Nikki dropped it, switching topics. So, spill. How'd you slim down so fast, pal? Sorry, gotta find Ms. Harper. Clara dodged, heading upstairs. Nikki yelled something, but Clara didn't catch it. Friends now, huh? She fumed. Betrayed me, mocked me, now acts all innocent. Jerk. In class, Clara fidgeted, rattled by a sharp wave from Ms. Harper. Kind, funny Ms. Harper. Clara loved her lessons. Now she vowed to help. Barely waiting for the bell and kids to leave, she approached Ms. Harper, bent over the grade book. Something up, Clara? The teacher looked up. No, yeah. Clara stumbled, unsure how to start. I want to help. Help. Ms. Harper blinked, taking off her glasses. With what? Grading. You're sick. I can fix it, Clara said. Ms. Harper's jaw dropped, words stuck. Don't ask how I know. I feel it. I just need to touch you and it'll go away. Can I? Is this a prank? Ms. Harper's tone stiffened, hurt showing. No joke, Ms. Harper. Give me your hand. Hesitant, the teacher offered it. Clara gripped it with both hands. Scorching pain hit her palms. She wanted to pull back but held on. Stopped soon. She let go. Feel anything? Clara asked, her inner heat fading. No, well, when you let go, something shifted. Can't explain it. You don't have to. You'll see, you're healed, Clara assured. For the first time, Clara left school feeling bold. No hiding, no running. It lifted her. She understood now. Her gift was for healing. She'd fix everyone in Willow Creek. Next day, Ms. Harper waited at the door. How? She whispered. Don't know, Clara shrugged, knowing what she meant. But it's impossible. So's me dropping weight overnight. Or Uncle Ray being happy. I helped him too. He's good, quit drinking. He can't believe it either. I'm not sure I'm cured. No night pain for years, that's real, Ms. Harper said. You could help so many, she added thoughtfully. Yeah, and I want to. Know anyone who needs it. Sure, at my age, I've got a list, Ms. Harper chuckled. I'll help everyone, Clara promised. Word spread fast. 3 days and Willow Creek buzzed about the miracle girl who healed for free. Old folks practically worshipped her. But the real miracle was different. Every night, she went to the abandoned house, took a bucket by the well, filled it with water, and hauled it up with a frayed rope she'd found. She dipped her hands in, releasing the pain she'd taken, then poured it back into the well. The thing had told her to, fed on pain. More was better. One morning, Clara woke aching. Not someone else's pain, but hers. Her arms and legs hurt. Limping to the bathroom, she froze at the mirror. She looked 40 years older, wrinkles on her forehead and face, skin grayish, hair streaked with silver. A young girl turned old, like movie makeup gone wrong. First thought, no one could see her like this. She grabbed a jacket and left. She felt terrible. The pain she'd pulled from others screamed in her now. At the shack, she peered into the well. Esquire, she whispered, unsure if it was a spell. She just knew it woke the thing. My Shoto, it echoed back. What's wrong with me? I aged. Is it the pain? She asked. Yes, I'm afraid so, it murmured. Keep helping people like this, and you'll die fast. I don't want to die, she cried. Giving life means death won't like it, but you can fix your mistakes. How? Take souls instead of pain. They'll cleanse you. Souls can make you immortal. What happens if I take a soul? Clara froze. Nothing much. They'll keep living on autopilot, but their life will fade. Their bodies stay here till they're ash, it said. I can't kill, Clara snapped. Death or life, it's your call. Heading home, she cursed everything. Why'd she get mixed up in this? Wrinkled like a prune, barely walking. For what? So old folks could limp on longer? Her thoughts stopped. Clara quit school, quit leaving the house. She only left her room at night, talking to Ray through the door, asking for food at the threshold. He didn't pry. She waited for a client. No one came, typical after they'd swarmed her. Old man Hank showed up first. He shuffled in, ignoring her look, hoodie, scarf, long skirt. He rambled about his aches. Clara silenced him with a gesture and waved him closer. He hobbled over. She offered her hand. He took it. His eyes dulled instantly. Warmth surged through her, easing the ache. Her skin stayed old, but the pain softened. A few more souls and I'm good, she thought. No one'd notice. She took health for herself. Souls like pain before went to the well at night via water. She fed the thing, and she got better. She didn't want her skin sliding back to old. One day, Nikki showed up. Guilt jabbed Clara, but she ignored it. Hey, Nikki said. You look rough. Sick? Been gone from school. Rumors say you heal people, dropped out. Some say you're dead. Had to check. I'm fine, Clara replied, knowing Nikki had a reason. You really heal? Nikki pressed. Depends what you need, Clara smirked. I'm, not, Nikki stammered. Pregnant, Clara guessed. How'd you know? I can tell. Don't worry. What do you want? It's not a sickness. Yeah, but you want to ditch it. 2 months, right? Why didn't you think sooner? Clara mused, weighing Nikki's words. She couldn't help, unless Nikki was young, healthy, standing there, a backstabber begging for help. Clara's hate grew. She had power, revenge right now. Gimme your hand, Clara said. Hand? Nikki blinked, wide-eyed. Yeah, I'm no doctor. My way's different. So it's true you heal? Nikki reached out, cautious. Guess so. Clara'd never felt this. A soul so young, pregnant even, hit her like a high she'd never known. The well that night. She got it. The thing explained a young soul plus the unborn was pure gold, the strongest kind. Clara was so caught up, she didn't hear two people approach. What you doing, Clara? A man's voice startled her. She turned. Nikki's parents. Her dad spoke, eyeing his wife nervously. Walking. You? Clara shot back. What did you do to our girl? Nikki's mom exploded. She came home a mess, lost, pale. You sell her drugs? Yeah, Linda, the dad cut in. What, Linda? She snapped, glaring at Clara. Answer. Didn't sell or give her anything. She came to kill her kid inside. Too scared to tell you, Linda. 'Cause you're a snake. Liar. Linda swung for a slap, but her arm froze midair, as if grabbed. Then she flew back 10 feet, crashing into the grass with a yelp. Her husband stared at Clara, then rushed to Linda. Clara, freaked out, ran home fast. In her room, she tried calming down, shaking from fear and rage. She just wanted to help, take sickness without aging into a corpse at 17. She wasn't ready for this. She hated the well thing for giving her this power. She'd give anything to undo it. Never go near that house, never talk to it. A crash from the kitchen window jolted her. Glass shattered, then a low hum sounded. She raced in. Fire. Something lit smashed through, hitting the wall rug. Flames leapt fast. She screamed, calling Ray. No answer. She lunged through the blaze, but the heat stopped her. She grabbed a pot, filled it at the sink. Hands trembled. Mind raced. The heat climbed her back. Who did this? Nikki's dad? Who else? The old folks she drained weren't missed. Nikki was her mistake. Emotions took over. Who's the fool now? Nikki's voice taunted in her head. She doused the fire. Nothing. The second pot took forever. Tears fell from self-pity or smoke. She couldn't tell. Smoke, probably. Her throat scratched raw, coughing hard. The kitchen roared with fire. Stay and she'd burn alive. Last shot, her room's window. Ducking low, she ran. Flames licked the doorway, but she made it. Soaked her hair, yelped as it sizzled, and yanked the window open. Out in a flash. She hoped Ray escaped too when something hit her head. Vision blurred, then black. She woke at dawn, tied to a log propped against a wall. The abandoned house. She's up, someone yelled. Burn the witch already. She'll kill us all, another barked. Witch, a third echoed. Clara lifted her heavy head. 20 villagers faced her. You'll burn, and this cursed house too. About time. How many'd you ruin? Witch. Linda's voice, that snake. You killed my uncle. Clara roared back, grief breaking through. You'll all die for this. You'll die for your sins, Linda sneered. Then to someone behind Clara, how long you messing with that gas can? Set. A man grunted. Gasoline splashed Clara's head. She knew the smell. You'll die with me, she choked out, helpless. She was done right now. Then the whisper came. Don't fear, girl. I won't let them win. Linda struck a match. Flared, flickered, then flew. Clara's dress caught, fire swallowing her. She screamed, not from pain, but terror. She didn't feel the heat. Flames roared, but she didn't burn. Just the ropes did. She looked up, and the fire jumped, alive, onto the crowd. Screams erupted. People flailed, burning, crashing into each other, falling. 5 minutes and silence fell. 5 smoldered on the ground. The rest fled. Clara sat amid the chaos, knowing no one dare return. She edged to the well. You here? She asked softly. Yes, it whispered, chilling her spine. You did this, right? Thanks, she said after a pause. They'd have burned me for nothing. Turned to death, were they? It replied. I had to live. You didn't warn me. You chose. I like it. Why are you still in the well? You're strong enough, Clara said, scanning the wreckage. Can you do more? Bring souls. No, you'll live. We'll live. She eyed the ruined house. How'd she fix it alone? Locals already wanted her dead. Your turn will help, it whispered, reading her. They obey only you. They'll build. The old folks I turned, she recalled, stunned. Yes, your servants forever, while their bodies hold. And the townsfolk? Gone by night, all of them. No one'll stay here. Just the dead, you're dead. Fine. She gave in. I'll try. Queen of Death ain't so bad, she smirked. The house rose fast. Her turned worked tirelessly. She eased up on them, but winter loomed. Locals fled, as predicted. Some left stuff behind, grabbing what they could, scattering to cities. praying Clara wouldn't follow. She laughed once, like I need them. Just stay out of my way. One problem, her skin aged again. Wrinkles returned. She needed souls. The thing, now in the rebuilt basement, had a fix. City kids, young, rootless, no kin, no ties. We don't need trouble, it said. Clara found Nikki fast. Her house stood open. She sat on her bed, staring blank, eyes cloudy like the rest here. Clara didn't want to share her soul, but a plan's a plan. She touched Nikki's neck. Nikki gasped, life flickering back, almost full. But Clara kept control. Nikki blinked, stunned. What are you doing here? No time for that. Go to the city. Find new folks for Willow Creek, young ones. How? Nikki got it quick. Live your life, get a job, meet people. Find the sick, poor, lonely. Lure them here, say I heal anything. Try running, and your body won't last anywhere but here. Daily, Clara checked the mirror, old, aching. A year passed. Nikki sent no one. Clara fumed but couldn't force it without touch. She hoped for stragglers or Nikki fearing her threat. Then, early June, a knock came. Clara froze, ears sharp. Alive and not alone. Nikki? She opened the door. 3 stood there, 2 guys, 1 girl. Hi! A guy grinned. Clara here? That's me. Oh, sorry, we're rude. I'm Rita. This is my boyfriend Kyle. And our pal Max heard a healer lives here. But young, the girl cut in. Was young once, Clara quipped, seeing her age could work. You really heal? Max asked. Yup, and you need it. They swapped looks. Let's chat first. Come in. I'll feed you road-weary folks. They smiled, hungry, and stepped in, wary but glad. Clara locked the door, smirked, and whispered, Esquire. Her plan clicked. Nikki delivered. Young souls, perfect to restore her youth, her power. Her body craved it. The basement thing would feast. Clara knew her life was hers now. No more victim, no more mocked kid. She was fear itself, ready to rule Willow Creek, her fate, her dead.